السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. حسبنا الله لا إله إلا أنت عليك توكلنا وأنت رب العرش العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.
We're continuing on today with the Book of Creation, part 22, page 9 for us here, on the second paragraph. Little recap from last week. Some of the highlights were that when we observe creation, things may seem apparent to us, but examining things more, investigating it more, with an open mindset, without any kind of biases, then everyone should come to the conclusion that matter is given existence along with its qualities. That is, you cannot separate the qualities from the matter, then it won't be called matter, right? That was one highlight. Another highlight was talking about, I know we talked some other things as well. Does anyone recall? I know we talked technically some wordings like accidental, which really has to do with the qualities. I know Brother Ali mentioned so.
Evolution.
Right.
We talked about what they mean by it.
These are value-laden words, but we have to really make sense of it for ourselves. Does it really make sense? Like, am I evolving by myself? Like, we have to question these things. Even nature, like whatever introduces to us concepts such as Mother Nature, or nature's produce. Often hear that in the society. So really questioning what does nature means for me, like how am I understanding it? And so really at the end of the day, the way to avoid any kind of pitfalls would be questioning the source of existence of anything, any phenomenon, and so on, and so forth. So that's what I recall. I know a lot else was said, but does anyone else want to share out their highlights, takeaways?
If you remember something else, you can contribute. Do you remember anything else? Main points to be highlighted.
I think Faria pretty much touched them all. We also talked about how, like, the source of existence of something by definition cannot be subject to time or space. It cannot be unchangeable in that respect.
So I was busy with something else. Would you like to just repeat or put it in other words?
What Faria said?
You said.
Sure. So one other thing that we had discussed last week, well, the main idea was about the quality of something not being, you cannot kind of separate it from the thing itself.
Actually, Fariha mentioned that.
Right.
Because ultimately, this is a very interesting point. We said there is no essence and accidents. The typical traditional names are Araf and Jawhar, or Jawhar and Araf. I think it is it may be useful, practical to know this, to hear this word. You don't have to learn it. If someone talks, especially when you start investigating the philosophical aspect of Islamic theology, you will come across these words a lot. So, essence and accidents. In fact, we discussed on it quite extensively that if you take the accident at every level of existence, as much as human beings can go in the micro world, but you cannot really go physically, but theoretically, still you end up seeing the accident, not essence. Matter in and of itself doesn't have essence. Everything is the accumulation of accidents. It means only the qualities of the creator manifests, but in this form. That is strange to understand, as if this statement seems to be denying the matter, but createdness is the matter. You understand this? Createdness is the matter. But I remember, because it is a very, very famous and commonly used example in our circle, in our discussions, we use paint and then painting. We use a piece of stone or iron to make the sculpture. That's human action, because we cannot create. But universe is the result of act of creation. So the creator doesn't use an external substance and reflect its art, its qualities on it, as a painter or the sculptor. Do you understand that? So the creator is there, and there is a stone or atom, and creator uses the atom to make molecules. But if logically we understand that the creator of the universe is absolute, it should not need any material to use. If we said it needed, it means there is an absolute being and also material, something like your storehouse, taking some material from storehouse and creating new things out of it. That's neededness. Do you notice that? That's neededness. Contradicts the definition of creator. Creator means, doesn't need anything. If someone needs something, cannot be the creator by definition. So universe is nothing but the manifestations of the qualities of its creator. But these creators are manifested form takes the shape of this matter that we can physically communicate with. If you go deeper and deeper and deeper into the micro world, so theoretically, because we cannot go particles physically, really impossible. So maybe they develop something, we can go to particle, but still you will realize that particle is not the substance. It is again a combination of other parts which end as a result of the combination, and form has come into existence or given existence. But it is also breakable, dividable. You can divide. And ultimately, by definition, there cannot be if you like, an artist and independent existent pain. It is logically contradictory. Do you understand this? We have to understand it. So that's why some people say this world is nothing but manifestations of the qualities of its maker. But can we say that universe doesn't exist, but only God exists? That is the extreme way of concluding. Why? Yes, there must be a creator, sure, but created things are also real. You cannot say that there is a creator, but no created thing. This is also contradiction. Be careful what the wujud, which is famous. So that's also contradiction. Why? If there was no created being, how would you know that there is a creator? That is the great Sufi philosophers, thinkers' policy. They say there is only one existent, which is God. Some people are careful to use this expression. They're real, existent, self-existing must be the one who is the sort of existence of this universe. Now, the others all are dependent on the self-existence will. So there is a created being, it means creatures. Therefore, we human beings conclude that there must be a creator. So if there was no manifestation of the creator's qualities, for us, there would be no way to confirm the existence of the creator. Simple, isn't it? But it's a matter of time, I think. The conditions, people didn't make it that simple in the history. Islamic tradition had great difficulties, problems in explaining this matter. Because of the time conditions, I can say, they didn't really go into the, but depending on or developing from their way of thinking, we find it easy to understand that that was wrong. It's an interesting point. Both of you emphasized on it.
If there are no more comments on what was said, then I say we move on.
Yeah.
Second paragraph for us. How strange it is that those who deny the all-majestic Creator's eternity, although eternity is one of his indispensable attributes, attributed to matter, which is contained in time and space. Interesting. How strange it is that those who deny the all-majestic Creator's eternity, although eternity is one of his indispensable attributes, attributed to matter, which is contained in time and space. Where can the tiniest blind, ignorant, and helpless particle find the power, stability, and firmness before which the universe bows in submission and veneration? Where can the tiniest blind, ignorant, and helpless particle find that power, stability, and firmness before which the universe bows in submission and veneration. How can creating and originating, attributes of divine power, creating and originating, attributes of divine power be attributed to natural causes, the most impotent and weakest of things? Should we stop here or do
Yeah. Stop, because the following paragraph follows up discussing the matter from another perspective. So it is simple, but we have to be careful and attentive. Okay.
So yeah, so I know it's like the keyword for me here is eternity. Yeah, but like, well, what do I understand from the concept of eternity? And I know we sort of touched upon last week about it may seem that, hey, if you're not really pondering over or interpreting the universe, then you can say the universe is eternal. Here I am. I'm just flowing in it, and the universe is eternal.
We can say easily that universe is eternal and get away with it.
Yeah.
But can we prove it? Can we establish a logical base for it? Universe is eternal because the main substance of universe is what? Matter itself. Now, what we see as matter, now, can we attribute any quality to matter itself? Look at it. Matter is in front of you. You can touch, you can examine, you can investigate the qualities, isn't it? Here it is. Can we find any trace of being eternal in itself?
No.
So, although it may be boring to repeat the same thing again, they continuously change according to what? First, they change, and they don't change as they want, on their own will, volition. They change according to what? Something else. Their conditions of changing dependent on other things. So these things, if they were self-existing eternally, do you think they would be subject themselves to another thing? So why should they change according to or dependent or other things? So it's easy, but we don't think, because we are under the effect of our illusions developed through our experience of this world on a regular basis. For example, I see this house has always been here. Yeah, this tree is always here. And I see that some trees die, some small shoots come, and a kind of circulation is going on. So it must always have been happening in this way. That's quite, how do you say, not the result of the not serious thinking and questioning. Is it possible that matter itself can give existence to itself and sustain its existence as I am experiencing it? Against the reality, at the background of the reality, that they continuously change. And they change according to something else, not according to their own volition. it is impossible to attribute the existence and the change to the matter itself, because it is contradictory. From one aspect, I am saying they are self-existent, it means independent. From another aspect, I am claiming they are dependent, because they have to follow something else. They cannot act as they want, freely, absolutely freely. Contradiction. But unfortunately, it comfortably fits to the superficial experience of the world.
I was just going to say, and something that is eternal has to also be immutable. It can't be subject to change, or else that contradicts that thing being eternal, because once it changes, it's not that thing again. It's a different thing. So there's no eternity latched onto the
So that's why being infinite cannot be subject to change. Infinite is always infinite. You cannot subtract, you cannot add anything to it. Yeah, it's very simple.
I had another question from the text. What is the difference between the attribute of creating and originating?
It is a further explanation, depending on your understanding of creating. But this is the translation of Khaliq and Fatir, or body, gives a new form. Now, the creating is bringing into existence, but originating means bringing into existence in a completely new form, not imitating others, not repeating the same thing again. Everything is original at every stage. For example, we don't think that, gentlemen, what's your name?
Shahid.
Say it again.
Shahid.
Shahid. She. Huh? Shahid. Am I right? Okay, I don't want to insult your name. Man, it's a good, but you know that it means witness. Huh? So you are witnessing what?
Class.
Sorry?
This class.
Class? No, did you say?
He's witnessing this class.
Yeah, for example. What else? People are crazy outside. They don't know what they are doing. Don't you witness that? They are just remotely controlled, manipulated. Don't you witness that? So let's witness the tree. Look at the tree. The same tree, isn't it? Yeah. 2 years ago, there's a small tree here. Do you see that? In front of them, not the big tree out there. There's a small tree growing. 2 years ago, it was 2/3 of the size. Now it became bigger. What is happening there? It's growing. We say it's growing. It's a very simple language, yeah? Growing. You know, do you think it grows, for example, waits for 1 month and then another store, another edition? Or how does it grow? Sudden jumping or gradual happening? Shy is really shy. Yeah. Now, when it gradually grows, how, for example, does it grow every day or every hour or every minute?
Every minute.
Yeah. The minimum possible time space we can imagine it changes. Correct? But very small. But nothing is the same although the same tree we are looking, but yesterday's tree is not exactly today's tree, or just other way around. Today's tree is not exactly the yesterday's tree. It grew a little, correct? Originating. Every moment, everything is given a new shape, new existence. So this everything at every moment is original. Not, do you know the word replica? Copying, exactly the same. Nothing is replica. So creating is one thing, giving existence to something which did not exist before. Okay? Created. There was nothing and there is something. Okay? Originating is another side of it, another quality. Everything is new and not equal to others. Okay, I see your hand here.
Okay. So can we say that originating is just a means of further explaining what it means for something to be created? It's not two different types of actions. Everything
No.
is originating. It's just a further explanation of what
Exactly.
it means for something to be created.
Exactly. I was going to say further explanation. You said it. Yeah, and further explanation. It means going into details of what creating means. We usually talk about creation. We don't pay attention to origination. We say, this tree has always been here when I was a baby. I grew in this garden or in this orchard. The same trees are going on, we think. But there's origination at every moment. That is amazing. That's really bewildering or mesmerizing. What's going on in this world? And this is the word creator and originator. Now, I think we can read this sentence, the first sentence, from the end to the beginning, because of the technique that the author uses for some reason. But how do we have to read it now? Now, eternity and the qualities, all the qualities manifested in the matter cannot be attributed to matter itself, because matter has no quality to give existence, to originate itself. Simple? But at the same time, if the matter cannot create itself, cannot originate itself, but it is out there. So there must be an originator. But we see that the universe has been given existence, has been given origins at every moment, constantly. What does it mean? The source of its existence must be creator and originator. So human mind cannot give existence of the matter to the matter itself. That is logical conclusion. That's why the author says creator's eternity and creator's attributes cannot be given to matter. How are we going to read this sentence? The matter doesn't have the quality to give existence to itself, to originate itself, because it doesn't have any quality, such quality, but it exists. It's given origination. So there must be a source other than the matter itself. We have to educate ourselves, train ourselves to use this language. Don't say, for example, eternity is the attribute of God. You cannot use it for the matter. It doesn't make sense. Especially in this age, this language doesn't work. We have to turn it upside down. Matter cannot give existence, etc., but it exists, so there must be a source. So this source must have the eternal, self-subsistent quality. Must be. I haven't seen it. I don't have to see it. That's my logical conclusion. For example, now we can say to Shahid, Shahid, this is not your phone, this is yours. Huh? Okay. Do you have anything in your pocket? Anything? What do you have? For example, telephone? Okay, take it off. Yeah. Okay, put it there. Yeah. And while you are speaking to your brother, you turn back, and where is my telephone? Telephone disappeared. Okay, turn your face to him. Okay, Atice took the. Okay, all right. Okay, look for your telephone now. Where is it? No. You haven't seen. You haven't seen. Yeah, because when you are doing this, it is just a display. Don't worry about it. Okay. So you haven't seen it. Somebody has taken it away. Correct? Okay. What do you say to your brother? Somebody has. Have you seen him? Have you seen somebody? Hey, yourself. You haven't seen, yeah, that somebody has taken it away. But why do you say that somebody must have taken my telephone away? Although you haven't seen it. Because telephone is not there. Yeah? And telephone cannot have the quality to move itself from one point to another. You know that. So your logical conclusion is what? Somebody, continue, must, sorry?
Somebody must have took my telephone.
Correct, you understand? If I come to you and say, how do you say somebody? Have you seen him? Experience it? No. But are you sure that somebody must have taken your telephone away? Where is telephone? No. Are you sure that somebody must have taken your telephone away?
Yes.
Yes. That's why your conclusion, although you have not physically experienced it, you are absolutely sure that your conclusion is correct. So you call the police, say, my telephone has been stolen. Yeah? And that's what I pay for you. Come on, find out the thief. Yeah, they have to investigate. But they don't say that, have you seen somebody is taken away? You say, no, if I had seen it, I would prevent it. Do you understand? That's why I am asking you to help me. Because I haven't seen it. Or if you have not seen it, the policeman comes and says, if you have not seen it, we cannot really trust your logical conclusion, your judgment. So that's your problem. Bye-bye. What do you say to this policeman? Stupid, isn't it? Don't you say that? Come on, be brave. I mean, you don't say they are stupid, but you say this man is not a man. He's a human being. So if someone says, have you seen God making the universe? What is your answer? Have you seen God making the universe? No. Why do you say that the universe must have been made? Since you haven't seen it, how can you say that? It is your logical conclusion. Do you understand? This is your logical conclusion. You don't have to see it. Logical conclusions are the most sure, the surest way of coming to a conclusion. Surest. And also your feelings say, yes, I'm sure that I'm right. Yeah, I'm not making it up. Your conscious, yourself, you say, I'm not telling a lie. Definitely, my telephone has been stolen. Because it cannot get. One point that we should never forget. Telephone doesn't have the power to move itself from one place to another. Yeah? For example, your brother and you are walking in a crowded place, street. So suddenly your brother realized that, oh, Shahid is not here. Yeah? Does he say that Shahid has been stolen or Shahid has gone somewhere else? Then I don't see him. Which one? You are walking in very crowded in the evening, Friday evening in Manhattan. It is more likely that you will lose each other.
Shahid has been stolen.
Can he say the Shahid has been stolen or Shahid has gone somewhere else? Because he hasn't seen you around him. Which one?
Shahid has gone somewhere else.
Yeah. He doesn't say stolen. You know why? Because you have free will to move. Yes? But is it possible that you have been stolen, but you're a big boy now, they cannot steal. Okay. But this is an example. If the telephone had free will, if you see the telephone has a free will, then you don't say that the telephone has been stolen. You say telephone has gone somewhere else. That is why it is very crucial to see the quality in matter itself or not to see the quality of moving in itself. So the most important question for us is to ask whether the matter has the quality to give existence to itself. Otherwise, saying that the matter has always been here, so it is eternal. It means has the quality to give existence to itself. But my observation does not prove that it has a quality of giving existence to itself. That's what the materialist scientists could not admit. There's no quality in matter to give existence to itself. In the example, there is no quality in telephone to move around by itself, free will. But Shahid has. But that's why I can make the distinction. Yeah, when your brother loses you, he says, my brother has gone somewhere else. When you lose your telephone, you don't say, my telephone has gone somewhere else. You say, my telephone has been stolen, taken away from me because of the quality of the object. Do you understand? It's very simple, isn't it? It's very simple to me. And I think it is simple, it's not complicated. So look at the matter. Does it have a free will? Here it is. Does it have the quality to give existence? Here is the pencil. If I tell you I'm a scientist, this pencil has given existence to itself, made itself into a pencil. Would you believe in me? But I'm a professor in science. Yeah, I'm a scientist. It doesn't make sense. Or the science or anybody who examines the matter cannot find any quality originating from the matter itself. Impossible. That's why they don't talk about existence of the thing. What they talk, I think we exchanged this in our emails as an answer to your question. They always talk. What we see, here is a pencil. It has always been a pencil. So it is, being pencil is eternal. That's what the scientists say. They don't question the origin of existence. How this object came into existence as a pencil. No. Since I was born, since human race has written and recorded his knowledge, everybody knows that matter is here. So its existence is eternal, means self-subsistent. Do you understand? Very simple. That's why existence, discussing the existence of or questioning the existence of everything is essential. Question. Okay?
I have a question. For example, before I paint something, before I draw something, I have an idea of what that drawing will be like. Let's say. The idea of that exists before I physically draw it, right? Now, I'm
As far as your conditions.
as far as my conditions. So I mean, the idea is not eternal because I'm not eternal. Yet, I guess what I'm wondering is, I was just thinking about, and I'm kind of thinking out loud, can the notion of pencilness be eternal if, like, does it, and I don't know if this is accessible to me as a human being, for me to think about how my creator wills things into existence, but if the current universe as I experience it is willed, does it, I'm getting a little sketchy here, does it exist eternally with my creator in some form, the notion of whatever potentiality can exist? But am I then subjugating my creator to time if I talk about something like that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to bring the creator of the universe within the limitations of your experience.
Yeah.
So what it means, or the point you made, the qualities of the creator must be eternal, because there is no essence, there is no does it accidents. It means there is no essence, there is no attributes. The things exist with their attributes, right? On the one hand, universe is nothing but the manifestations of the attributes of its creator. Creator is nothing but attributes of its own essence. So his knowledge, if the creator must be eternal because of the witnesses that we experience in the universe, that the source of existence of the universe must be eternal. So this conclusion says if the creator, by definition, these are all definitions, every logical conclusion is a definition. So by definition, for me, the creator exists. Again, by definition, for me, the creator's qualities eternal too, must be eternal too. So I cannot think of, that's another method that if you study Islamic theology, you will see that I cannot say that there is one matter and there are qualities. The same thing goes with the creator. There is no eternal creator and separately, and there are no eternal qualities put onto, sorry? Latched onto it. No. Eternal means everything is absolute. That's how it is. That's why essence of the creator must be absolute, together with attributes for myself. How can I say this wood in my practical life in the created world, this wood has been made into table. That's my practical life. This practical experience of human mind usually jumps into doing the same thing to the creator. There's a creator and there are attributes. So this very famous expression, you must have, if you have not heard it, if you study, you will definitely hear it. This expression is, just to hear it, there is such thing in history. La huwa aynuh wa la huwa ghayruh. That's Arabic word. It is not exactly the same. It is not separate from the same. That is a false statement to me. Why? It is not separated from its essence, I understand. But it is not exactly its essence. What are you doing there? Separating the eternity, the absolute one, infinite one, into one essence and another thing extra to it. It is contradictory. So you cannot say that God exists, there is no quality. No, I can see different qualities manifesting here. But I have to say that when I conclude that the universe must have an infinite creator, absolute creator, it automatically says all the qualities are infinite. That's it. There is no separation or combination. That's it. By definition, when I say, by definition, all the numbers are in it, but it is not a number that I can count. So simple. By definition, these are all by definition, because the Muslim thinkers, they have a good intention. I'm not criticizing them. They are great, really great. Muslim thinkers did not really concentrate on this matter. They accepted pre-accepting concept in their mind that here is the universe and there is a creator, right? This separation caused the problem. Why? We cannot say that here is the universe, there is a creator. I cannot say this, but practically I can. It is so easy. Here is the manifestation, therefore, there must be source of it. Therefore, not and. There's a difference. Now, here is the universe, and there is a creator. Is wrong. Here is the universe, therefore, there must be a creator. This is different. You do the difference now. Again, I will repeat, very important statements these are. Here is a universe, and there is a creator. Look, is. Because of this pre-acceptance of God's existence. You understand this? So God exists, so how can I explain the universe? Well, God must have created the universe. That's the logic. So this is a preliminary, how do you say the word, which is in it is the first beginning of development?
Premise.
Sorry?
Premise. Premise.
Premise? Did you say premise?
Yes.
I want to understand the word. Premise, no. Something very
Prerequisite?
Initial?
no. It means initial, but you know the development of a baby for when it is, sorry?
Primitive.
Pre something.
Primitive.
No, yeah, it is primitive. It is
Primary?
no. The word is
Pre-existent?
no.
Infancy, the ideas.
No. The beginning of the development, not developed very well. When the baby, not primitive, there is a word for it. Pre something.
Fetus.
Sorry?
The
Okay.
fetus of the idea.
So I think you got the.
Primary. we said that.
So these wisdom scholars started thinking about what they believe, why they believe. These are the mature thinking, the beginning of the development, emergence of the development of thinking. We cannot blame them. For example, the first time you are learning, let's say, how to be a car mechanic. Yeah, you are the first time you are trained. Of course, you take the spanner, is it? No, or the screwdriver and other tools. Even you don't know how to hold it. You are learning, the preliminary stage. No one can blame you. Your teacher, your instructor must help you. Rather than saying that you don't know how to handle the hammer, man. But you are learning. The first stages of the Islamic emergence of the thinking were like this. They had to make mistakes. And that's quite normal. It develops. You become a mechanic at the end. But the first stages is inevitable not to make a mistake, not to develop the mature, developed, perfectly squared idea. It's quite normal. That's what they were Muslims. They believed in God, and they trusted that. And also they said there must be a God. That's sure. So let's explain who He is. Now look, accepting the notion of God first, and then try to explain it is the problem. But we know it after they made the mistake. This is what I mean. If they didn't know, we would make this mistake now, because we would start thinking like that. Now we say no. There is a difference between them. There is a universe which is created, needs to be created, and there is a God. There is God. Now, we say, no, it's wrong. After learning this, oh, no, it doesn't work. There is a universe which needs to be created. Therefore, no, there is a God. So say it, there must be a creator. Because as I am, if I don't experience the universe and experience the quality of the universe to need to be created, needed to be created, I cannot conclude that there is a God because I have no idea. I don't say there is a God. I say, as a result of my experience, I conclude there must be a God. Do you understand the difference? It is a very essential thing. In our language, we should never say, God knows everything. Why? And somebody may say, doesn't he know everything? I say, no, this statement is wrong. By definition, this statement is wrong. God knows everything statement is wrong. Why? I am looking at the creation. I don't know God. I haven't seen God. I haven't experienced God. But my conclusion is the one who gave existence to this universe must have absolute knowledge. Look, must have. Have I experienced it? Come back to shahids. Have you seen the people or the person who has stolen your telephone? No. You say, somebody must have taken my telephone. And I am sure there's no telephone. Yeah? But if I say somebody took my telephone, the policeman will come and ask you what? Look at the language. Look at, you are a policeman. I am the one who has lost my telephone, okay? If I say, policeman, sir, however you address, sir, somebody took my telephone. You are a policeman. Ask me the question now. What question you should ask me?
Have you seen them take your telephone?
No, don't go to the previous example. Look at my language. Somebody took my telephone. You are the policeman. Ask me the question. Somebody took. It means I have seen it. Yeah? Somebody took. Yeah? The policeman asks me what? Who will say? Who took it? So that we will catch him. But if I say, you are a policeman now, somebody must have taken the telephone, my telephone. The policeman says, when did it happen? When did you realize? They don't say who took it because of my language. Do you see the difference, side? No? Or yes? Yours. Okay. Now, in our language, if we say God knows everything, the person comes and asks me, how do you know? Yeah? But if I say the creator of the universe must know everything, the question is, how did you conclude this? Here is the universe. It fits. I can prove it. The universe, everything within the universe is given existence according to knowledge. And its knowledge encompasses all the universe at the same time. Although everything changes, but knowledge always fits to every condition. It must be absolute. At the same time, it is happening at the same time. Must be absolute. That's why must be. But classical scholarship says, but God says, I know everything. Yeah, it is an information. It is an offer to you. Be careful here. It is an offer to you. What is that? Look, I am the creator speaking to you. I know everything. What are you expected to do now? This source says, I am the word of the creator. This source says, I know everything as the creator. The creator is a creator. I know everything. What is my duty now? Is it true? Can I confirm it? Yeah. How do I know that this statement is correct? But of course, classical scholarship didn't do that. You know why? They took it for granted that the Quran is God's word. If Quran says so, it must be so. That's very classical approach among the scholarship. That's why we cannot take them as our guide now. But we benefit from them. We have to go one step ahead. No, you cannot say this, sir. Thank you for your effort, but it doesn't make sense now. It was a preliminary condition. Do you understand? You start like this, but you will end up that this is wrong. I shouldn't do that. So we end up now, it shouldn't be said in this way. We have to say, Quran is the word of God. I don't know. Let me examine. Let me see. Yeah? It is not doubt. No, it is a human. If I come to you and say that I am the prophet, God spoke to me last night, what would you do? Prove it. Yeah. And you wouldn't say, oh, how can I know? Yeah. Oh, yeah, since you say so, it must be so. Do you say that? What do you say? I don't know, but can you show the evidence for it? So that I will trust you. So the Quran says, I am the word of God. We have to say, are you? How can I know? So Quran says, God knows everything because it is God's speech. It means I know everything. You know, Quran is the speech of God. So it means I know everything. Is it really true? Let me investigate. How can I investigate? Go out of the universe and see God. Oh, then His knowledge is here, everything in it. Impossible. That's why we have to investigate, and whether it is right or wrong, confirm it whether it's right or wrong. That is called, it is interesting, again, we have to be careful. That's called belief in Arabic ghaib. What does it mean? Something not experiential, but I am sure it exists as a result of my conclusion. That's belief in God. So belief in ghaib. It means, ghaib means something which is not within your experience. For example, when you notice that your telephone has been taken away, you haven't seen who did it, right? So you say, my telephone has been stolen. Are you sure? Yes. Somebody must have taken my telephone away. So, although you did not see a person taking the telephone away, you are sure that somebody must have taken it. That's belief in God. You haven't experienced it, but you see the result and you conclude. It's very simple. So there are many things discussed in classical scholarship. Now we understand that we come to the conclusion easily rather than imitating and repeating them. No, the result is this. Result is this. No, I understand from your logic, and I understand that it doesn't work now. Thank you for starting the discussion, but my conclusion will be different. So it is not being denying the value of the classical scholarship, but at the same time, it is not imitating the classical scholarship because we are not in their time. We develop now. For example, every science. For example, if you start doing PhD in pharmaceutical studies, pharmacy, right? What do? You learn the previous ones and you go one step ahead. That's what your study should be. Huh? If you just repeat them, if you don't bring anything new, would they accept it as a PhD thesis? No. No. One step ahead, contribute one step ahead. When you say something one step ahead of Salaf, they call it Salaf, yeah? Ancient scholars. Are you denying them? Are you denying them? No. You are developing on top of their study. If they have not studied something, you should have been doing the same thing now as they did before. So it will be your step ahead. That's why any PhD thesis, by definition, not necessarily practically, but by definition, should take the same subject one step ahead. It doesn't mean that rejecting the past. That's why when you are going to study this, you have to take courses. 3 years. What does it mean? Learn the previous ones. So get ready to go one step ahead. And then they say, okay, now you 3 years or 2 years? 3 years.
Usually 2.
Sorry, 2.
2 to 3.
2 years of courses. You are expected to know what is already in the literature. During these 2 years, you have to learn as an extension of your undergrad studies, college, university studies. And then now you became specified in your specific subject now, because the college or the high school is a very general. College, a little bit specification, but PhD, you have to specifically study one discipline, but specific side of the discipline. And then when you are doing your PhD, you are expected one thing about the specific part of the discipline. So I didn't know that. Somebody came to the place where I was and had an interview from Turkey, had an interview with the professor, and he was a chemist. And the professor said, what do you want to study? Interview. He said, I want to study chemistry. So when I heard this, really, it is really stupid to study chemistry, to do PhD. You cannot do PhD in chemistry. There's thousands of different subjects. How can you do PhD? PhD must be done in one side of it. You know, if the chemistry is a rope, PhD subject is a string only in it. Don't forget this. Don't be perfectionist. Otherwise, you cannot do your PhD. Just one string in it. But primary school, secondary school, different. High school, a little bit specification. College, a more specification. 2 years of training in PhD, even narrowing the field. Your PhD, only one string. You cannot be perfect.
You can't climb anything with one string, though.
But you add one string to the rope. And then you add one string, the other person adds another string. Rope becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. That's how the science develops, or any kind of study develops. So we have to do this as well as far as the classical scholarship is concerned. We have to specify in one subject and add to it. Not imitate it and repeat it. That was the classical Muslim education system, which is called madrasa. Nothing adding, just repeating learning the previous ones. And then, of course, madrasa system extinguished itself by itself, because repeating, nothing is new. It must disappear and finish. There is no Islamic education anymore. Don't say that in the universities there are Islamic studies. No. It's finished. Because repetition, nothing added, because the Salaf is so much elevated that no one can reach them. So, okay, I cannot go beyond it. What I have to do now, repeat what this. That's madrasa system. We have to learn this. We have to know this. It's not respect of the scholarship. To me, it is just insulting the scholarship, saying that, no, why you didn't live in the 21st century and come up with an answer to the questions of the 20th century. It is an insult. The man was created in 12th century. So he has to respond to the demands, the needs of the 12th century people. So you don't expect them to answer the demands and questions of the 21st century. It's an insult to them under the pretext of respect. We have to learn this. We have to be aware of this reality. It is not to be disrespectful to the people or to the Salaf, what I mean by Salaf? The previous scholars, previous people. They are good. Of course they are good. Do you think that Newton wasn't a great man? Huh? He was a great man. He was a very great man. Really, I really appreciate his work in his time. The famous example is Ibn Sina. He was a great scholar. He was a great man. But who cares Ibn Sina's theories now? Can you act on Ibn Sina theories now about your health?
It started something.
Or start, finish. But it is over now. It is great in his time, in his life conditions. Right? Respect him. But you cannot imitate him anymore. But unfortunately, if you want to organize a religious activity, look at the contradiction and horrible situation of the Muslim community. If you come up with an old book written by a great scholar in his time, everybody says, oh, he's a very knowledgeable man. He knows something somebody is. In fact, he is a stupid man. This great book was great. Ibn Sina's book was great in his time. Now, even the first year medical student now knows more than what Ibn Sina knew in his time. Who cares Ibn Sina anymore? We have to understand. It doesn't mean that we are irrespectful of Ibn Sina because we developed his ideas. That's the problem of the Muslim community. I really don't like this respect. The elderly means you have to respect. You have to go beyond. You have to listen, learn, and do your PhD on it. Go one step ahead. Yeah? Under the pretext of respect, we keep repeating the ancient. There is an expression in Turkish. Let me say it. Eskiye rağbet olsaydı bit pazarından oraya ağırdı. Now, if there was a value in the ancient old things, there should be a real light in the flea bazaars. To do the smell and okay. Antique is antique, but you cannot repeat antique. This sort of time. Okay, you want to say something?
Yeah, I had a question. Well, two questions.
One by one. No.
So, I guess you're saying that people should advance the study of theology or just the world. I mean, people are doing it. People are doing it in the material sciences.
Whatever it is, yeah.
People are doing it in the material sciences, but people should do it in other spaces. And this is obviously one of those things that people should study. This studying the universe, maybe combining it with the knowledge of, or with what beyond obviously the material sciences. That's the subject we're talking about right now.
Whatever the sciences, not
Right,
only
that's what-
material
that's what-
science,
that's what
maybe
people should do, you're
theological
saying.
sciences as well. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Everything.
And I guess I agree that Muslims have stopped doing that, but and I'm not I agree with you. I'm not for, let's say, them, like I'm not for regress or stagnancy. I'm not saying I support that. I don't support that. I think that the Muslim scholarship is very much stuck in the past and just reading texts of the past and not advancing new knowledge. I agree with that perspective, but I guess the other thing is, what if, I mean, they developed certain things and we're not really changing a lot of those things. We're really having a difficult time just understanding.
No, I don't agree.
You don't
Sorry.
agree?
I don't
Right.
agree at all.
So,
We have to change them. Not we didn't understand because they in their time, for example, Ibn Sina must change.
oh, I agree. I'm
So
talking
why
about
not
more of
other-
the, more of
Ibn,
the
Ghazali
theology.
shouldn't change them.
Sure, but more theology. On a theological basis, they kind of developed a lot, right?
No, methodologically they were not right now.
Methodologically, they didn't develop a lot. You're saying.
Not at all.
Not at
No,
all.
they repeated themselves. So what they did, they accepted lots of the notions because they could not do that time.
Why couldn't they do it?
Because the first time they were introduced to a new idea, and about this under the effect of this new idea, they want to justify this idea. Now we are not justifying this idea anymore. We are trying to prove the correctness, logical consistency of these ideas. The time changed, the requirement of the people changed. We cannot try that. I believe in God, how can I justify it? No, it doesn't work anymore. So, but they were introduced this idea, and because of the requirements of their time, they wanted to justify the idea. So they didn't really start from the scratch. But now everybody questions. For example, they were not challenged with the idea that the cell develops by itself.
You were not challenged with the idea that the cell develops by itself.
Yeah, they were not. They said the universe is here,
Mhm.
and whether it has a creator or not. That's it.
They started with that premise.
Yeah, because that's their time's requirement. The way of interest in their time was this. So when you read, for example, when you read in, I'm not specialized in physics, but Newtonian theory, it is consistent in its time, but now it is not.
Yes.
But that time it was great. It was great to see the universe as a book, consistent book. That's what actually Newton established. The universe is a consistent book. It means from the beginning to the end, really is consistent, never changes as it is. And this is what the rules of the existence of the universe. That's it. It is fixed. Now, no, it is not fixed. It continues to change. It continuously renews its existence. But he saw the laws of the universe are by himself consistent within themselves, and that's it. Now we say no. Laws of the universe continues to renew it, and they are subject to renewals. For example, we understand that we know some laws, yeah, but the application of these laws are not fixed. For example, the tree grows according to certain laws, okay? But application of these laws, there are other elements in it. What? For example, somebody may come and break it. You don't know. So the universe's whole order must be thought with two different perspectives. One is constant laws. The other one is unpredictable change. How can I combine these two and still preserve the order of the universe as consistent as being? Have you seen this? Do you realize that? No. Oh, sorry?
No.
No, I know it is new for us. Now, according to the theory, everything is happening within certain laws. But now we understand that everything is continuously according to the capacity of human experience coming into existence and disappearing. Appearing and disappearing. It means constant change. But while the constant change is happening, we cannot predict with Newtonian laws. Practically speaking, now what we see in the universe, if I plant a tree in my garden, it grows. And new universe, while it is growing, new universe's order has been accorded according to the existence of a new tree now. It is rearranged. Yeah, it is re-established order. Now, last year, within the last year's order, be careful about this idea. It is interesting, something new. In the last year's order of the universe, there was no tree here. So the birds could not land on it. There was no tree. This year's order, there is a tree, and the birds are landing on it. Or how to say, perching. Perching themselves on it. And the universe's order is there now. This is the small scale, the big scale. For example, billions of years ago, there was no galaxy. Such a galaxy. New galaxy is emerging there. The universe's order must be adjusted according to the existence of this newly born galaxy, like your house. You were two people, 8 days ago. Now you are 3 people. So your house arrangement must be changed according to new conditions. I'm sure you did. Have you?
Yeah.
Do you understand this? Now, what is going on here? One constant laws, the other one is unpredictable happenings, creation. Still, but constant laws plus unpredictable conditions, order of the universe has still been preserved. How can you solve this problem? Newtonian theory doesn't work at a very simplest level. It's a very superficial level of
Could you
thinking.
repeat that? Sorry. Constant laws plus ever-changing order of the universe.
No. New unpredictable things are coming, not according to laws. For example, let's say there was a land here. What I did, I cultivated it and planted something there.
Mhm.
And a new plants are growing there. Last year, there was no new plant there. So order of the earth has arranged accordingly now. The birds come there. Some worms are created there. Some bugs are, or the small insects are getting rizq from there, getting food from there. New order is established, and order never changes. Orderliness never changes. Now, this is the small scale. At the big scale, there was no 1 million years ago, 1 billion years ago, there was no galaxy there. Now there is a new galaxy emerging. And the black hole, some galaxies are dying. Has the order of the universe been spoiled because of the new galaxy and some galaxies died? No, order has preserved. Look, perfectly. So, in order to explain the existence of such a contradictory universe, I have to understand that there are certain rules. Yeah, for example, the tree grows in a certain rule, but there are uncertain happenings also, and together with certain rules plus uncertain, unpredictable happenings, for us unpredictable happenings, still equals to perfect order. It means the source of existence of this universe must be constant and eternal, absolute. Why? Although the parameters are changing, the result is not changing. How do you explain this?
So classical scholars didn't
No.
base their
Yeah.
they didn't base it on science. They didn't base it on
Not
the material
science.
world.
Don't use the word science.
They didn't base it on
They didn't
atoms
see it.
and-
They didn't see it was there.
Right.
It was, for example, the galaxies were dying. Galaxies were coming into existence that time as well, but they didn't know. It's quite normal. The telescopes were not that developed.
Right.
That's so normal. I cannot blame them. Why didn't they know? If there was no, in a very practical and simple way of presenting this subject, if there was no Newtonian principles of the universe, there would be no relative rules of the universe. If there was no relative explanation of the universe, there would be no quantum explanation of the universe. So quantum explanation of the universe is indebted to relativism. Relativism is indebted to Newtonian understanding. Do you understand what I mean? So they don't reject each other. They don't contradict each other. They complement each other. That's why we have to complement. Classical Islamic education developed very fast during the first 4th century, something like that, 7th, 11th, yes, 4th century. And then became stagnant. Repetition. Very exceptional names, Mullah Sadr or this kind of illuminists, famous names, but very exceptional names did not repeat, but came up with new ideas. But mainstream of classical scholarship became stagnant and repetitive after the 4th century of Islamic emergence of Islam. Now they disappeared themselves. There is no classical scholarship because it is not alive anymore. It doesn't have it. You cannot apply it to anything. You cannot answer the questions of newly emerging ideas and questions. No, it doesn't satisfy. When Shahid reaches the age of 18, he won't find it satisfactory. But we can say we are Muslims, we believe in it now, but after the age of 18 now, he would say, I don't know, the scientific explanation seems to be more reasonable than others, just taking for granted concepts and imposing that we believe in that, we are Muslims. Why? The other people say we are Christians also. Who's right? I don't know. This is what I mean? And it won't satisfy Shahid anymore. So it must, this doctoral thesis, the understanding, as we briefly explained here, every generation must add one new string to the rope. Otherwise, don't deny the rope, add it, renew it, renew it, renew it. If there was no renewal, there would be no development. If there was no development, extinction is inevitable, as it did in Islamic scholarship. Is there any Islamic scholarship now, apart from the repetition? The most famous scholar, what do they do? Refer to the past scholars, authority, and hide themselves. What do you mean? Ghazali said so. Are you greater than the Ghazali? Yeah, but when you go to the materialist science field, no one says, are you greater than Newton? No one says this. Why? Hey, man, you have to go beyond Newton. That's why materialist science is improving and dominating everywhere, and Muslim science, theology is dying because it's stagnant. That is against the nature of creation. So you know that when the people get old, their eyes doesn't see as bright as when they were young. Correct. Okay. Can you spare one of your eyes for the old age? Close it. Don't use it. Don't make it old. How do you say? Deteriorated. Don't keep it like this, so that you will use it when you get old. What happens? That is the reality of the creation. What happens? Your eye, the eye you spared, what it atrophies, dies, and cannot use it. You cannot protect. You have to develop. So when I reached the age of 45 something, I found it difficult to read. And I went to an eye doctor. He said, okay, this is your eye measurement. Go to the optician and get your glasses. I went to an honest optician. The optician told me, look, doctor prescribed you, let's say, 2.0 degree reading glass. But my suggestion is, be careful here. Don't use 2.0. Use either 1 or 1.5. I said, why? That is the requirement of my eye. He said, no. If you just feed it as it needs, if you don't force to use it, it deteriorates. So use less one so that you will force to use it. As it works, it improves. That is the futra. That is the nature of creation. Allah says, the more you use, the more I give. For example, do you help Shahid in maths or physics or whatever he is studying sometimes? Okay, while you are teaching him, let's say your knowledge, be practical. Well, and of course, it is not real, but example, you have 100 mathematics knowledge. When you give some of it to teach Shahid, now, does your knowledge of mathematics become 99 or 101?
Probably
The
just
more
that
you
100.
teach,
Okay, sure.
the
Just
more
grow.
you learn.
Yeah.
The more you certify. It means the creator says, look, I am creating with no difficulty. Don't bother that you are going to cost me something. Use it what I give. Do you understand this logic, this reality? The more we use it, the more the creator gives us. The more we say, okay, this man said in the 12th century this, I have to go further, I will be given further. If I say, oh, that is sufficient, I cannot go beyond Ghazali. The Ghazali is a very famous name. That's why I'm giving this name only. So I cannot go beyond Ghazali. I cannot challenge Ghazali. You will get nothing. You will die. Yeah? That's what zakat. The Prophet says, the more you give, the more you get. For example, you have $100. You gave to zakat $2, 2.5, the minimum practical example, but this proportion may change. It's not in the Quran. So depends on the interpretation, okay? And the practical narrations from the Prophet. Doesn't matter. But the concept is important. You have to give some of your property to the needy ones. And Shahid, have you studied any mathematics? Do you know abstractions? Additions? Abstractions? You know, subtract? Subtract. Yeah, not abstraction. Come on, subtract. So,
Abstract
okay,
mathematics.
okay. Now, if I have $100, if I give to somebody who doesn't need it, be careful on economics we are going to study now, okay? If I give $2, make it easy, 2.5 doesn't matter, $2 to somebody who doesn't need it, how much money do I have left?
98.
Correct? Correct. If I give $2 to a very needy one, which is called zakat, very needy one, be careful. How much? $2, again, out of my $100. How much money do I, or how do you say, am I left with to the needy one? 100, I gave $2 out of 100. How much money am I left?
102.
This is jumping to correct. But mathematically speaking, materialistically speaking, 98. Yeah? Okay? Okay, but because the prophetic message says it is a mystery. It is a very interesting mystery that the economics is discovering now. I will tell you this, although it is not our subject, economics is not our subject, but we must know this. If I give $2 out of my $100 to a needy one who's going to buy and what? what he really needs, what happens? Although, mathematically speaking, I am left with $98. But economically speaking, this person wouldn't buy something that he needs, and he will be living a miserable life. Now he is using this money in the substantial need of the society. Be careful. He's going to buy bread. He's going to buy something that helps him to survive, not extraordinary, extravagant way. Yes. So the economy is turning at the substantial level more, because he returned this $2 in order to buy something substantial for human need. But because I have $100, what I do, I buy substantial need with $2. The rest of my dollar goes what? To extravagant things. So for example, why do you think these American economists support farmers? How do you say subsidiary? Subsidize main production, manufacturing of the need of the society. Now, agriculture, car production. If a car company is in danger, what do? There's a special name for it. Bailout. Why? Because it is essential for the economics. So economics must need more money. But Islam says, look, if you give to charity, it will go into the main need of the society, because you are giving to the people extra money you have. You are giving to the people who are supposed to, expected to use in the main need of the society. This is the real growth of the economy. At the end, your $98 does not diminish by inflation. It is value. For example, before let's say you could buy 100 eggs with $100. Now the economy is in its essential. You studied economy a little bit, business. Yeah, you should understand this. Now the economy is so strong that you buy with $98 not 100 eggs, but 102 eggs. Shahid said.
Purchasing power.
That is,
Purchasing power.
sorry?
Purchasing power increases.
Purchasing power increases because the substantial needs are supported to be produced more, because it is consumed more. The Prophet said it 1400 years ago. If you pay zakat, it will not diminish, it will increase. That is also another sign that if you go one step ahead, then God gives you more. If you give to zakat, God gives you more. That is the principle in creation. Don't be afraid to criticize Ghazali. Question, with the question that you are exposed, Ghazali was not exposed that question. So try to answer the needs of the community you are living in. So people challenge believing God with many excuses. Question them, are they really true or not? Be brave. Don't be stagnant. Ghazali said so in the 12th 13th century. Now, I cannot be greater than Ghazali, and I have to give the answer to this people's claim in the 21st century with the answer Ghazali gave to the people's problems in 12th century. Don't you see the explicit contradiction, irrationality, and also not natural? That's what God doesn't create. Yeah? Every time God reveals his secret in his creation, more and more, isn't it? For example, before, the speckle was the smallest thing. Now, particle, quarks, are the smallest thing. The quality of atom was in the 19th, 18th century, 19th century, were only nuclear and electrons. Now, nuclear is divided into hundreds times. And they say, look, the things DNA is growing. What is your answer? DNA is the codation in human or the living being's body. The code is working now. What is your answer? You cannot answer this with Ghazali's ideas, but you have to go further. So you have to question that. You cannot say that the universe has an essence and also accidents. No. God is an essence and also accidents. No, you cannot say it. Finish. You have to develop it. And Shahid's generation will go further. They will say, when I was a child, I attended a discussion group, and an old man was speaking a lot. Now, he was saying such and such thing. You will say, oh, what he said did not answer the questions risen in my age. I have to go further. That is what needs to be done. Materialist scientists are doing this, and they are really overwhelmingly occupying the world, and the Muslims left this area completely and still go back to the more ancient the reference you give, more valuable sheikh you will become. Isn't that reality? But why do you think the people are becoming more and more atheists? Even the Muslim generation are living Islam. Why? It's very simple. The answer is very simple. We have to wake up. Not that we should be arrogant, nor we should be despair. We have to say, there must be an answer. Yeah? What is the answer? And think about it. The more you think, the more you are given. Yeah? That's the nature of the creation. You have to be brave. Brave, why? Not self-confidence. No. We have to have confidence in the creator of the universe. It is his rule. The more you use, the more he gives. For example, if you grow cucumber or green beans, have you ever tried this at all? No? Okay. If you don't pick up the newly grown ones, what happens? No more creation of green beans. No more creation of cucumber. If you pick up, the new ones come. That's all God is saying. Look, if you use my production, I will give you more. Appreciate it. If you use it in my name, eternal, in the name of the absolute one, you will be given absolutely paradise. Don't be afraid of using it. Do you understand? If you say, I am saving God's property, if you don't use it, you won't become aware of him. You won't appreciate him. You won't be thankful to him. There will be no paradise for you. Because you didn't use the grown beans. There will be no more beans to you. That's how the creation is. It's very true to me. I think we have to wake up. We have to wake up. Brave means not self-sufficient, no. Self-confidence, but confidence in Creator. Yeah? I believe and I'm confident that the Creator is demonstrating this to me in this world. So I will use more. I am confident in his generosity. He will give me more. That's what we should do. Do you understand what I mean? So, last thing I will say. Not everybody is the same. What Imam Ali said. What did he say? Yeah. None of the Muslims take, none of them is a general saying, but exceptions are exceptions only, but generally what is happening in the world exactly against, contradictory to what Imam Ali said. What Imam Ali said is that the first and most important student of the Prophet, so because he grew with him, from very child. Yeah, he was much younger than Shahid when he was with the Prophet. So he is the main pillar of Islamic knowledge to me. So Imam Ali said, train and educate your children according to the needs of their time, not according to the needs of your time. You understand? Very simple. Very simple. If your father or mother ask you to do what he does, he is going against the principle in God's creation, contradicting the creation. He must say, look, I must say, Shahid, what I am saying, write it down and use it in the rest of your life. Wrong. Write it down and try to go one step ahead. All right? So you have to get ready for the conditions of your time, not my time. My time is gone. Your time will be a new creation. And the new creation needs new reflections. Right? No stagnancy. No arrogance, no despair, or without any confidence. Have confidence in your Creator. He promises, he gives. The more you use, the more he gives. Yeah. The more you use your eye, the brighter, the best, the better it works. That's reality. Right? Alhamdulillah. So we have to stop it. Man. Okay, here. Any more? Any question? Any concern? Anything bothers? Doesn't make sense? No?
Think about it. Digest it.
I have another question, but I know that
Time
I
is
have
up.
time.
So if it is a big subject, we will leave it. If it is not a big subject, we will just
Answer in a couple minutes, maybe.
yeah. It is.
So you were saying that there's nothing different from God in terms of existence. I
Sorry.
mean, the creation is not different from God, meaning
No,
it's not.
I didn't say that. We cannot pre-assume. No,
Okay,
that
we can't pre-assume.
there is a universe, and be careful with the language. There is God. No. We can only, within our capacity, we can only see the universe, and we can say there is a universe. Look at the word, there is a universe. Therefore, there must be God, creator. So it is not two different entities. But at the same time, my process of thinking goes from the universe, concludes the ghaib. We have to keep this methodology. Never ignore this methodology. So to say that there is a universe, there is a God, is the idea of 10th, 11th century Muslim scholarship. It is not valid anymore.
Well, yeah, they have this idea of like there's nothing unlike the universe. Sorry, nothing in the universe is unlike God.
What do you mean by God? No, God is conclusion. No, you cannot use this sentence, this statement. I would like you to express yourself, but you are basing your premise on a wrong premise. First premise is wrong. If the first premise is wrong, everything will be wrong. That's why I stopped there. Correct the sentence, continue. But doesn't work. It needs training. Yeah. Your brother's name is Eminul Islam, huh? So Eminul Islam, that needs a long-term training. So because we if we are not used to thinking, and is that thinking in a how do you say, a new way, not repeating, developing, then we don't realize the detailed but very essential differences. But this is quite normal, but we have to train. You know, you don't go to for example, mechanic shop and become a car mechanics in one day. It is quite normal. It's human. We have to try, think, take notes, think about it again, and question it. What was the difference between these two phrases, etc.? Then become aware of the differences in languages and the methodology, etc. Then you will develop. It doesn't happen in one day or 2 days. I'm sorry, but it shouldn't be disappointing. That's how we do. When you start learning.
Let's just say you assume you understand what I'm talking about, and in the Quran it says that there's nothing, like, you know how it says there's nothing like him.
You cannot liken him because this hype anyways. You cannot make a comparison between the thing you see and between the thing you don't see. Mm-hmm. It is impossible anyways. So anything, it means, it's a big deep subject, you know, it means nothing has the quality of the creatorship in this universe, it means. But again, it needs a long-term training. It's not easy. Just literal understanding of the Quran doesn't take us anywhere. Mm-hmm. We have to reflect. We have to think about it. And inshallah, as we do, we start really understanding what the Quranic message is really. But we have to study and reflect on it. We cannot read it literally and speculate on literal reading. It is not the way to read the scriptures. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم وآخر دعواهم الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر